Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to MoxiWorks Hours Essentials. Today's session on MoxiEngage, specifically migrating your Zap contacts to MoxiEngage. This session has a lot to it. The intent is not to create more questions. It very well may, but is to hopefully clear up a lot of your questions. I'm going to go through the content rather quickly to allow for time at the end to ask questions. So if you have a question, if they pop up, and again, if you can mute yourself, that'd be fantastic. Let's see. Thank you. If you have questions, write it down. Not sure if we're going to be able to get it in chat because I want to make sure that everybody focuses on the content rather than kind of switching back and forth on the content or the slides and to the chat window. Okay, so make sure you write it down and it will allow for time at the end for your questions. My name is Alex Castro. I'm not sure, Angie, are you on the call? Okay, I'll be your host today, and that means that I am by myself with the chat questions as well as your questions at the end and delivering the content. Quickly, here's our agenda. Just like every MoxiWorks Hours, we talk about real quick about what the expectations are, not product demonstration today, but rather kind of slides and kind of outline all the things that you should know going into your MoxiWorks migration from Zap. Then we have a survey, and then after the survey, so that hopefully you guys can still tune in, we got a quick best practice or a tip, right? So we're kind of leaving that at the end. So hopefully you all can stay till the end. And if you have, if we have time for any testimonials, any success stories that you wish to share. So this session is open for everyone. Specifically, this session is geared for people who are planning to, are scheduled for their Zap to MoxiEngage migration. There are going to be 2 additional sessions similar to this, but a different title. It's called Top 5 Tips to Know About Before Zap is Sunset. Okay, so I think one in maybe October, November, and then one again in December. So if you have any colleagues, this session has a lot of information. It's going to be recorded and delivered to all registrants. So if you just register, you'll get a recording link. Everybody knows hopefully how to submit a ticket request if you have an issue. MoxiWorks Hours. Now we are having them weekly until the end of the year. So lots of good stuff. And today we are focusing on MoxiEngage. Before we go into the material, I just want to quickly launch a poll. This is an anonymous poll, basically trying to survey who our audience is today. Why am I attending this session on migrating your Zap data? So you can choose more than one, but yeah, if we can kind of get a gauge as to what or who actually is on our call today so that we can tailor the information accordingly. Excellent. Somebody picked choice number 6, which is nothing, but anyways, I guess I forgot to delete that question. Let me look at
I had to do it. I'm sorry. I had to do it.
Didn't. A wise guy.
I picked 2. Okay. I picked the right one too.
We have
okay.
a wise guy. You just wanted me to call that out.
You definitely did. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
We have a wise guy on our call today. Excellent. Thank and previous links. Very good. Yes, Don, all the recordings are going to be sent. I think the last email that you probably received from us has a recording link, replay link for all previous MoxiWorks sessions. Let's see, excellent. Yeah, we are recording this. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll. Thank you all for answering. Why am I attending? We launched and I need to learn how to migrate. Very good. That's kind of half of you. We are launching future. Moxie soon, and I need to learn how to migrate. Okay, want to learn my migration options. I am the company product champion. Very good for 33% of you. Excellent. And oh, actually, I should have shared those results so that everybody can see that. And I'm going to take a quick snapshot with my handy dandy iPhone. Perfect. Got it. Excellent. So here is the information. Migrating your Zap contacts to Engage. Why do I need to think about this? Why do I need to migrate my Zap contacts to MoxiEngage? So a lot of you are in different launch groups. You guys know kind of when your launch date is. Look at this column up here, right? The what is this? The x-axis, right? Going across June, right? July, right? And then we have September, October. Some of you are coming up on this call, November, December, right? So you pick your column and then notice this row, lead router to leads engine code over. You guys need to know this. This row, according to your launch group, right? These G7, G6, that's open enrollment group 6, open enrollment group 7. Okay, so why did I add this slide? Is because once this date hits, lead router to leads engine cutover, your leads that have been traditionally going through lead router into Zap are now going to be, as of that date, are going to be sent through leads engine, the next generation of lead router, to MoxiEngage. Why do I need to know this, Alex? Because once that happens, you may be looking in Zap because you have been accustomed to using it, and that's the only CRM that you have because you haven't turned on your or activated your MoxiEngage account. So I accepted the lead, but I don't see it. Why? Because that lead router to leads engine cutover date happened already, and now that lead is being sent to your MoxiEngage account, which you have not activated. So, moral of the story, you will probably lose that lead. You'll probably get an email, text, things like that, but you're not going to have it in your CRM. Zap CRM becomes read only. Okay, you see all the dates, right? Some of you are coming up. I think only one group of us, early access and group 1, they just hit that deadline of September 9th last week. The rest of us, right? October 7th, and you can see all the dates going forward. Read only is different from sunset date. Okay? Read only is different from sunset date. All right, your product champion. 33% of you on this call are the product champions. You guys who are not the product champions, if you need help, turn to your product champion for these documents. Hopefully, you know who that product champion is at your office, at your company. 3 documents that I am prepared to go over. Hopefully, I don't have to go into that much detail because it might confuse more of you. But if you don't have any questions, I'm going to go over these documents. But my thrust and focus is to make sure that your questions are answered through this session. Okay, so I want to focus more on questions. So number 1, Zap read-only FAQ. I'm going to show you that. Number 2, automated data migration guide. I think that is brand specific. So each one of your brands has a document automated data migration guide specifically for your brand. And again, all 3 of these documents, ask your product champion for them. MoxiEngage data migration facts. I have that also available in this session if we need to go there. Okay, so number 1, Zap read-only FAQ. I'm not going to read this entire document because you guys could use it as reference and check it out. Read-only is not the same as sunset. Sunset date for Zap is scheduled for December 30th, 2022. Okay, you can see in read-only, not everything is available, but yeah, it read-only functionality. Can I add a new record, a new contact or lead? No. Can I call or send them via Zap? No. Okay, so you can see all these. Here's another one down here. Am I able to access my mobile Zap CRM, right? The Zap app on your iPhone or Android? No. This is after that your read-only date. Okay. And if you have questions, put them in chat, write them down so that we can talk about it later, because I don't want everybody to be focused on chat rather than the content. Okay. Here's something to note. Read only. Okay, when is that going to happen, Alex? Right? Traditionally or typically, Zap becomes read only 60 days after that leads engine cutover. Why is that, Alex? Because we want you to become familiar with the leads engine to MoxiEngage, that whole process. And then, okay, now you're able to wean yourself off of Zap, comfortably accept leads and work your leads in the new platform, specifically MoxiEngage. And then, okay, take Zap away, I'm good. Okay, keep in mind what we're talking about today is only the CRM portion. The whole Zap website to the Moxie website is an entirely different conversation. That's a whole MoxiWorks hours altogether. So we're just talking about your Zap CRM data, the contacts. Okay, website, there is no migration basically. From Zap website, all that stuff that you did for that, reviews, your testimonials, your property insights, all that, they don't migrate over to your new Moxie website. But we're talking about your CRM today. All right, so yep, here we go. So here, once again, lead router is cut over to leads engine. Once that happens, leads are going to be offered through leads engine. There's no going back. Okay. All right. So we're going to pause before we continue, and I'm going to take a look at the questions real quick. If you don't mind. And Jimmy, appreciate your help. Let's see where we get lead. I don't see where we get the leads from leads engine. So Charisse, we had a MoxiWorks hours previous, and I think it was last one, maybe last week, where I show you screenshots as to, from an agent standpoint, what it looks like in MoxiEngage when you receive a broker lead, or what we call a leads engine lead. Okay, so you want to watch that recording from last week, MoxiWorks hours, where we have screenshots complimentary of our friend Jimmy McNally, who's on this call, who sent us screenshots as to what his agents are seeing when they receive a broker lead. Okay, so that's super helpful, and thank you, Jimmy, again for that. Very good. Thank you again. Volume really low, Eric. I don't know what to say because I usually speak fairly loudly. So hopefully you're able to turn up your volume. Okay, very good. Dumb question. How do we know which group we are in? Ron, you want to ask your product champion, your broker owner, your manager, which group you're in. Typically, you don't really know. It's not an agent thing, and maybe I shouldn't have introduced that, but for the sake of this call, you kind of, I wanted everybody to kind of heads up, right? And if you don't know your group, that's your product champion, your leadership team, whoever's in charge of the rollout of your MoxiWorks launch, for them to kind of share with you, right? The launch group really doesn't mean anything from an agent's perspective other than this call, because you know, okay, where do I fit in? How soon? Or, right, do I have to worry about this cutover date? how soon do I need to plan or get ready for my migration of data? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and continue. Hopefully that answered a few questions out there. All right. 4 ways to import your contacts. You pick. And there are certain things to know about each one of these 4. Okay, but number 1, I forgot to talk about this screen. Email sync. So everybody on this call who is using MoxiEngage, MoxiEngage will synchronize with your Google Gmail. Or if you have company provided Microsoft email, it's going to synchronize with that. I'm talking about contacts, calendar information. It's very powerful in that respect, but not everybody can utilize MoxiEngage because of this fact. If you have a Yahoo account, no luck. If you have AOL, no luck. If you have an email that's based from GoDaddy, you're not going to be able to access MoxiEngage. Okay. Ellen, sorry about that. If you can mute your dog. Thank you. I did. Excellent. Okay. So just know that the email sync is key. This is what your leadership team has been working with us to make sure everything works when you activate your account. You have to have a supported environment, namely a Gmail, Microsoft O365, company provided email account. All right, so 4 ways to import your contact. You pick. Number 1, the automated data migration tool. And we're going to go over each one of these. Automated data migration tool is basically when you log into your MoxiEngage for the first time, it's going to prompt you like a wizard, right? Where it's going to ask you questions. Do you want to do this now or wait? Okay, automated, takes Zap data, automatically puts it into MoxiEngage. Easy peasy. But there are certain asterisks that you want to know about that, and we'll talk about that. Manual data migration. Okay, so some of our offices, some of our agents are choosing not to do it automated because, Alex, you know what? Gosh, I got a lot of old clients in Zap. I don't want to work with them going forward. Or there's a lot of duplicates in my Zap platform. I don't want to, I want to clean it up prior to going into MoxiEngage. So you get the idea, right? Manually, because it's not going to just take everything and migrate it over to MoxiEngage. Import using CSV file, comma, separated value. You have 2 flavors, Outlook or Google. And I'll show you those templates so you can make sure you understand this. If at any point that you feel like, gosh, this is too much, feel free to email us. You have the email by way of this registration link that you got or email reminder that I sent out. Okay, or also enter 1 contact at a time. People do that as well. Okay, 4 options, you pick. All right, for everybody on this call, if you haven't migrated yet, and I'm sure that's pretty much everybody because that's why you're on the call, here is key information, best practice. Everybody would recommend this, that you clean up your database. I think Jimmy would second that motion. He has his agents do right preparation, getting ready for this big event. Big event because you're changing your mode of operation. You're using Zap for all these years, and now you're using MoxiEngage. But do I want to take everybody over? No, I want to delete the duplicates. I want to fill in missing phone numbers. I want to fill in missing email addresses, physical mailing addresses, people that you don't want to work with anymore. Does that make sense? So clean up the database. It's time well invested. Okay. Number 1, importing your people using the automated data migration tool. Now, here is something that I want to make sure everybody understands. MoxiEngage is going to synchronize with your email, whether it's your free Gmail, your company or brand provided email platform. Yes. Whatever or whoever is in your current platform, it's going to be automatically migrated over. Does that make sense? Some of those people may not be in your Gmail or your Outlook 365 account. They may be in your Zap account. Make sense? Those people will also be added now or synchronized to your now Gmail or your Office 365 account. I'm going to review that again. Hopefully that sinks in a little bit, but I just want to go through some of these screenshots to make sure that everybody kind of gets a feel for what is you're about to undertake in terms of your options, so that you can formulate some questions that we will have time for in a few minutes. So automated data migration tool. So you're going to see this, right? This is that wizard. You're going to say, oh yeah, select current CRM or opt out, your choice. Yeah, Zap, because this is what we're on. I want to make it automated. I have everybody in Zap. I cleaned up my database and I want, yeah, you do it for me. Okay. Here's the actually the data migration tool. I have a whole, all the screenshots from that automated data migration guide. I have it. I used actually Moxie Present to suck in that PDF file that your product champion should have. I sucked in that 18 or 20 page document and it created a Moxie Present presentation in PDF file format, but now every page is separated and I can go through it with a Moxie presentation now. Okay, but I don't want to take time now unless we have questions related to that. And if we have time, as time permits, because it's quite detailed. Okay. So when you first log in using this automated data migration tool, I call it like a wizard, right? You have 4 options: migrate your market leader, right? Or business builder, right? That's not us typically on this call. Number 2, migrate your data from Zap to MoxiEngage right now. Yes, if this is the choice you want. Opt out for good. So the third choice is, nah, don't ask me again. I know for sure I don't want to do this, using the automated data migration tool. Or skip for now, ask me again later. Once you select number 3, that's it. No more asking you again. Okay, now a manual method of importing your people, right? Number 1, automated data migration tool. Number 2, manual. Okay, what is this basically doing? I'm exporting from Zap into a CSV file, right? Comma separated value, which basically is Excel. Why do I do this? Because I want to clean up my spreadsheet in Excel because it's easy to look at. Oh my gosh, I see all these email addresses that I'm missing, all these phone numbers. I could fill it in. I could delete the duplicates. I could sort them. You get the idea. That's why I want to use this method, the manual data migration method, because I can clean it up easy in Excel. Once it's in a CRM like Zap, oh my gosh, I got to like search, I got to sort, right? It's harder, more challenging to update in mass compared to if you have a spreadsheet that, right, all columns, it's all in rows. I could sort, oh my gosh, look at all these people that I'm missing emails for. That's what we mean by preparation. Clean up your database prior to going into MoxiEngage. Okay. Now, one thing to note is that there's a Zap to MoxiEngage manual contact import template. If some of these options that I'm describing today If they say, oh yeah, I need to know that, right, take a picture with your phone of a screen and then just go into support.moxieworks.com, the success portal of MoxiWorks, and type that in. So you're saying, gosh, where is he getting this? Zap to MoxiEngage manual contact import template. If you type that in support.moxieworks.com, that template, Excel spreadsheet, will pop up and you can download it. Okay, it's gonna look like this. MoxiEngage manual contact import template, zap to MoxiEngage. Okay, so you just type that in support.moxieworks.com, and then you could download that straight from your web browser. All right, number three, importing your people. Third option, bulk import using CSV file, comma, separated value, right? Outlook, well, I'm not on Outlook, I'm on Google. Oh, I'm not on Google, I'm on Outlook, right? It's gonna be one of these two. The thing you need to remember is that there are Outlook import templates, right? You can see, where did I get this from? Support.moxieworks.com. You just type that in and you're going to be able to see that template that you can download. Why do I need this, Alex? Because I have Outlook, I don't have Zap, I have a Buffini database, I have a top producer database that I want to grab all that information, import it into MoxiEngage. Does that make sense? Why do I want to do this? Because I want to make sure I delete the duplicates. I can see all the gaps or holes or missing information of people's emails, phone numbers, addresses in this template prior to syncing with my email platform, Google or Outlook, once I activate my MoxiEngage account. Okay, so this is a template. Where did I get this from? Support.moxieworks.com. Look how many columns there are, 92 columns of data. That's a lot, Alex. Yeah, Zap certainly doesn't save that many data fields or elements. But you can see there's 92 columns of information. And well, but how do I get from like top producer, Buffini database, whatever database CRM that I've been using into this? Okay, that's where a copy and paste is going to come into play, right? I have a database, another CRM, whatever flavor it is. It could be Zap, it could be whatever. And I can export it, copy the relevant email column, paste it into this template's email column, right? So it doesn't always match where all the columns A through Z are going to be in the same order. It's not going to happen. So you copy, right? And if you need help, you want to consult somebody technical at your office or what have you. YouTube is always a good place to get some resources or help. Okay, so that's Outlook. Google has its own template. So if you're on Gmail, it has a separate template.
But do we need a course stop call?
Oh, hello.
It's just a drawing.
Okay, hopefully we got that muted. Yeah, if you're not muted, please mute yourself. So the Google or Gmail template has 63 columns, different from Outlook, 92 columns. Don't ask me why, but that's just how it is. Okay, so different templates. The moral of this story is, why am I showing these slides? Is because not one template is for everybody. So you have to go to support.moxieworks.com, support.moxieworks.com, otherwise known as our success portal, to download these templates. Okay, So here we go, right? Some tips for using the CSV file, download it from there, make a backup copy before you start making changes. Always back up different iterations, right? Some people say, okay, here's my database, my export from whatever system, right? Zap, top producer, a Buffini database, whatever that is. Make a backup copy of that, export, and then make a different copy for when you're importing it or copy and pasting into that new Outlook template, Google template, or CSV file, excuse me. Okay, complete as many columns of data as possible, right? The goal is to fill in all those gaps, those missing information, delete the duplicates, right? Keep in mind that the header, row 1, right? That whole row 1 of the template must remain intact or contact information may not import correctly. So basically, don't change the order of these columns of the template. That's the definition of template. That means use this, don't change it. Just kind of fill in your information. Okay. So here's kind of the abbreviated version, importing contacts or Google Contacts, right? So here is, if you're on the desktop, this is what it looks like. Here's me, right? And then you go to click, and then you can go to your contacts. So here you're going to import contacts. Okay, click, importing. You're going to select that CSV file that you cleaned up. Yeah, you select it. And then right now it says 0 marketing. And then you click on your template that you're going to use, click. And then all of a sudden you have contacts here in your Google account imported on that date. It's creating a new group so that, oh, okay, so I don't have to do everybody all at once. I could do them on different dates. That's fine too. Okay, you notice that my marketing group or folder is now went from 0 to 65 new contacts that were imported. Okay. Very important to note, how do I limit the contacts that MoxiEngage pulls from my email? Because Alex, I have a bunch of contacts in my Gmail account, like Home Depot, the Starbucks number, the dentist. I don't want to pull them into MoxiEngage. But guess what? If you don't learn about this, everything gets moved over or migrated or copied over into MoxiEngage. Two approaches, right? MoxiEngage is designed to pull contacts from the main contact folder. That's the default folder, yes? Any other folders in your email will not be pulled into Engage. That's basically the My People screen. If you have contacts you do not want to see in Engage, the dentist, Home Depot, Starbucks, but don't want to delete them, of course we don't want to delete those important people. You can move those contacts to a new folder so MoxiEngage won't pull them into Engage. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'll answer questions in a couple minutes, okay? But very important to understand this concept, because MoxiEngage is going to pull all of these people here, contacts, unless we move them into different folders that MoxiEngage just says, oh, yeah, I'm just going to focus on the main contact folder. Okay. All right, so here is, if you could bear with me on this last paragraph. If you delete contacts, let's say, gosh, I forgot to do what Alex said on the MoxiWorks hours. I forgot to delete Starbucks. I forgot to delete the dentist. I forgot to delete Home Depot. But now they're engaged, they synchronized. Okay, what do I do now? If you delete contacts, they will only be deleted from Engage, but will stay in your email. Does that make sense? If your contacts are already engaged, you can delete them and they will no longer be visible and engaged, but they're still part of your contacts where you can contact Home Depot or your dentist still. Make sense? So hopefully that makes sense. So don't worry if you already synced from your email or Gmail account into MoxiEngage and it pulled over all those contacts because you didn't put them in a separate folder other than that main contact folder. No worries. Just got to go back and now remove them from Engage, but they will still be in your contacts on your Outlook or Gmail. Okay. So over on the left, you have Microsoft Exchange. Over on the right, you have Google Mail. You can see contacts here, right? Just wanted to show the comparison. Keep in mind, when you do an export, this is just kind of bonus information on a MoxiWorks or MoxiEngage export, there's 152 columns that are exported. Now, some of you maybe who are more technically inclined will say, okay, Alex, why don't we just start with this as our import template? I don't know the answer to that. I asked the same question. Why don't we just do the 152 rather than the 60 some odd or the 90 some odd of Outlook? Let's start with this, and we'll start with this to prepare for that migration. I don't know why we can't use this as how MoxiEngage exports this information. Okay. All right. So if you choose not to do the automated, you choose not to do the CSV files or the manual method of the data migration, you can do one person at a time, one contact at a time if you wish. So some of you on this call may have started a fresh Gmail account just so that you could use MoxiEngage. That's fine. You have no previous contacts. You can add them one by one if you wish. And all you have to do is go to people, add people, just basically here, right? Here's our MoxiEngage demo account. You go to engage, add people, click, and then you fill in the form for that new person, right? Easy. There is no migration for this person because you're adding them one at a time. All right, so that is what I had so far today. I know it's a lot of information. And let me go through the chat. Anybody want to unmute themselves that were kind of really burning question to know, or maybe something that was popular or trending question in the chat? I'm going to go through it right now. Let's see, Christine, when you switch to Leads Engine, the leads will go into Moxie. Yes, Christine Farley, once that lead router to Leads Engine cutover date, that date that your product champion should know of, that's it. Leads will no longer go and route through Lead Router into Zap. It will go from Leads Engine into MoxiEngage. So if you're looking for those leads, don't look in Zap. Hopefully by that time, you already migrated. So you're able to work those broker leads, those company leads, Leads Engine leads, as they're noted in your MoxiEngage account. You're able to work those leads, stay in engagement, as we call it. In Zap, we call it stay in compliance, but in Leads Engine, we call it stay in engagement, so that you could do the tasks and activities to reach out and stay in communication with that lead. Oh, very good. Tiana, what happens if you already have a certain contact in MoxiEngage? Does it create repeats? If the name, I believe, if the first name, last name, and email address is already in Engage, that information shouldn't repeat should you go to import that same record. Make sense? It shouldn't repeat. But if there's new information, additional fields, missing address, physical address, that should update that record in MoxiEngage. Great question. Other questions, folks?
Hey, Alex, I got a little tip.
Yeah. Who's this?
This is Mitz. from
Hey,
Fresno.
Mitz. How's it going, Mitz?
It's going all right. Hey, when I was one of the agents imported all their stuff and put it on an Excel sheet, and they weren't sure how to use that Google CSV or the Excel file. And, because they couldn't tell which columns to put it in, it's not so obvious. So when they imported all their clients into like their Google account, it would only have the first name and not like the last names associated with it. But what we did was we went into the Google account and exported the one client that they had in there. Then you knew what columns were associated with the first name, the last name, email address, addresses, and things like that. And then you just copy and paste to that export.
Ah,
I mean, that way you don't have to guess which column it's in because it's pretty detailed. So I thought that
very
was a good
Oh,
tip.
that's a really good pro tip, Mitz. Thank you very much. We'll have to document that one. Mitz. Okay, so very good. Thank you so much, Mitz. That's really good. Other
You have
pro
another
tip.
question in
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah. Go ahead.
A lot of questions in the chat.
What question was that one specifically? Otherwise, I'm just gonna go ahead and pick one because I know there's a lot. Was there something specific?
Yeah, how can I change my current email sync to a different one?
Ah, very good. All right. If you, let's say you did the activation of your MoxiEngage account, yeah?
Yep.
And it was, let's say Gmail, or let's say it was Outlook, and now you want to change it to Gmail.
Mhm.
That requires a support ticket with support.moxieworks.com for them to change it,
Okay.
right? So keep in mind that once they do this, it's basically a reset.
Mhm.
Keep in mind this reset, you're going to lose basically all that transaction activity information. Okay. So it's not
Okay.
something that you want to, oh, this month I'm going to try the Outlook. This month I'm going to, right? No, you want to make sure long-term. Similarly, that's a great question. Similarly, some of you who haven't yet launched, you haven't gone through this part yet, but it's great that you're on the call so that you can start to plan and like, oh, okay, now I know what I'm faced with. There should be the option. Let's say your office signed up for Outlook 365 or Gmail, and then you wanted to switch at that point. There should be an option where you can specify at time of activation, like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to do it that way.
Mm.
But after the fact, after you've been using your MoxiEngage account, you've been sending neighborhood news and updating and things like that, sending out campaigns. That's a little bit different, right? Because there's some history, there's some transactions, there's updates that you have performed, and then that requires a reset should you want to change after the fact, right? So not something that you want to do certainly frequently, kind of a one-shot deal. Great question. Other questions?
Hi, Alex. What if when you first signed up for Moxie, you didn't see the launch wizard?
Ooh. So you already launched and you didn't see it?
Yes. No, I didn't see the
Oh.
migration wizard.
That launch wizard may not have been available to your launch group yet. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So it wasn't turned on. It wasn't turned on yet. So you had your launch date. Agents are able to utilize the platform, but that data migration tool was not yet available to your group. It's not the same day that it's launched, that you're launched, that you will see that. So yeah, very good question.
Yeah, Alex, I've been hearing, 2 to 3 weeks after launch, you'll end up seeing that migration wizard pop
Very
up
good.
there.
Very good. Thank you, Jimmy.
Hey,
Other questions?
Alex. Yes.
This is Vivian. I'm the Moxie leader, the Moxie champion for our team. And we
Vivian.
had one agent, hi, that jumped the gun and just was so excited and got right into it, and then imported over 20 years of contacts from her Googles, and she kind of was like just dumbfounded. Is there any way to completely wipe out her contacts and start all over?
Wait, what did you do? Just curious.
She started her Engage, she got right into it, and it started importing all her contacts from her Google account.
Yeah. She wants to start all over.
Correct.
Yeah, basically what I mentioned a minute ago to the gentleman, where you submit a ticket, say, can you reset my account, basically,
Okay.
right? Yeah, certainly something that you don't want to take lightly. If that's what she wants to do, then submit a ticket. Support.moxieworks.com. Very good question.
Okay,
Other
perfect.
questions, folks?
I have one.
Yeah.
Brittany Hunter, Billings, Montana. We launched on the 12th. I received an invitation email that said, invitation to kind of start setting up your access for your portal. I hopped right in. None of my agents have seen that same email. I already submitted a ticket for it. Just trying, is that how it was supposed to go? I mean, why did I get an invitation to start working on my account, but nobody else has?
Brittany, are you sure that it wasn't for your Moxie website specifically?
Well, when I go into the email and it has, click the link of the invitation, I pop onto the invitation link, it sends me right into Moxie Works. I have all of my items on the left, MLS connection, everything on the left to kind of set up my account. I can see it, but again, nobody else so I'm the champion of our office. I also help our broker to set up everything, but none of the agents have seen an email that says invitation, start
Very
helping.
good. Yeah. So Brittany, if you wouldn't mind, can you send us a screenshot of that?
Mhm.
That way we can follow up. And if you wouldn't mind, put your company ID.
Yep, I can do that. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you. Other questions?
A question, yeah. I just have a quick question. When you first log into Engage, we already launched over here, and I'm the product champion, and I've gone in and I've kind of played with it already with different profiles. The question is, do you have to sync an email, or can you manually put in contacts into Engage? Because it seems like when you click on Engage, it automatically has that screen saying, go ahead and sync. Or how do you want to sync? So can you skip that and just not sync anybody?
No, that is the whole premise,
Okay.
the whole backbone, if you will, for MoxiEngage, right? That is what your leadership team has worked with several teams here at corporate, where we make sure that all this preliminary launch information is detailed out, so that when it comes time to activate that account, it's not like, oh, I don't need Outlook or Gmail to sync. You need,
Right.
it's a required, that's why that was one of the first slides, email sync, must know. That's what
Right.
happens, right? Calendar, all those contacts, that's how it
Right.
keeps
Just want to make
everything
sure, because
organized.
people are asking, well, some people don't have Gmail and then they don't want the company email. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm giving them the right.
Yeah. You have to pick one. And in fact, if you go to support.moxieworks.com, right? Support.moxieworks.com. All you have to do is type in email sync, and then all this cool information is going to pop up. Yeah. So yeah, you want to type that in.
Thank you.
So Alex, there's a lot of questions in the chat bar. Are y'all going to answer those after we're all off?
We're going to try. If there's any burning questions right now, if you can kindly unmute yourself and ask.
Well, I'm asking right now.
Yeah, go ahead and ask, because I can't get to all of them. Usually we have some other one of our other team members
We have a third-party provider for our email, for our company email. And it's GoDaddy, but GoDaddy is a Google product. And they are fixing to migrate over to Office 365. So is that going to work? Is it going to, because it's a third-party migration
Yeah.
email, so is
Yeah.
it going to migrate?
Yeah, is this Vivian, right?
This is Debbie Taylor.
Oh, Debbie, I'm sorry, Debbie Taylor. Yeah, I fixed your name, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Debbie, regarding GoDaddy email accounts, I don't want to confuse everybody, but oh wait, I got a GoDaddy URL for my domain. That's different.
Well, it's a workspace
Yeah.
provided.
But our GoDaddy support with respect to MoxiWorks Engage, that email sync is slated to be supported, I think, early part of next year. I don't know if there's a specific date yet, and you want to ask your brand representative for the definitive answer. Okay, I'm just kind of telling you generally because I don't want to misspeak, but a GoDaddy email versus a GoDaddy domain name, different thing, different topic. That is a separate and not supported under the Gmail, Google free Gmail, or your Office 365 brand provided email address. If
Okay.
you would go to email sync under the support.moxieworks.com, what I put in chat, you will see and read about GoDaddy specifically not yet being supported. And then as we're answering some more questions, if you would be so kind to take a minute to complete our MoxiWorks survey. This session is the MoxiWorks hours session. Other questions that you would like to unmute yourself? Thank you, Debbie.
Yes, is core BTS, like I know we have like our broker's email is bill.may@era.com. And we get that through core BTS. Now, am I understanding correctly that won't be supported?
That is correct. Email me. I don't want to misspeak. Email me or MoxiWorks launch at anywhere.re. Your
I'm sorry,
name.
I'm sorry, email what? What was the email address?
MoxiWorks launch anywhere. Basically, where you got this email from, the invitation. I think that's it. MoxiWorks launch at anywhere.re. Email us with your name and your company name, company ID, with your specific question. There's lots of variations of the emails scenarios that I just want to make sure that I'm answering accurately. Other questions, folks?
Thank you.
Regarding the
Alex,
migration. Yeah.
Yes, hi. If you don't get the migration wizard, would you be able to do it manually on your own?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your choice. You could pick all of those 4 options, right? You can do it manually. You could, and then when that migration wizard is available to you after your launch, as Jimmy said, 2 or 3 weeks later, you could say, oh yeah, I'm done. I don't need that anymore. I already did it manually.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Oops, sorry, folks. Oh, thank you. Ooh, other questions? I'm gonna go through
If
chat.
I could just ask one thing for clarification purposes. In our office, we were told that our contacts would transfer automatically. And apparently that's not the case. There were maybe 5 for me that transferred over, but all that was included were their names, no other information. So what it really boils down to is we have to go into our contacts, copy it, and then just go column by column and transfer everything over. Is that correct? Is that what this is boiling down to?
Who am I speaking with?
This is Dawn.
Dawn. Okay, so Dawn, the automated data migration tool, if you are talking about that, all of your contacts should be migrated from Zap into MoxiEngage. All of it,
None of that's happened for any of us.
Did you get the wizard, did it come up like the screens that I showed you?
Yeah, some of us got that, followed through the steps. It brought me to
Okay.
you had to export all the things from Zap, and it created this Excel file. And when you went to move it over to Moxie, it says that there's nothing there and nothing supported. So
okay, so what you're talking about is a kind of a mix of two different solutions, two different of the 4 options.
okay.
The migration wizard, I don't want to call it wizard because that's not the formal name. I call it a wizard because it's kind of like steps you through. But the automated data migration tool is just that. You say yes, Zap, and it starts pulling the information in. There is no Excel spreadsheet talked about, or you should see nothing of an Excel spreadsheet in that option.
Is there a way to get back to that?
Yeah, if you, I'm not sure how to invoke the wizard again, but the Excel, when you talk about Excel, that is not automated, is it? Right? That's manual. When it's telling you, okay, we're going to pull in that, that's not the automated data migration tool. If you need more help, if you email us at MoxiWorksLaunch@anywhere.re, put your company name, your name, so that we can get back to you. If you have problems, number one, you want to submit a ticket on that. If it didn't work as you were expecting, that's a ticket, and that's the number one thing to do versus
I've already done that twice, and we've gotten nowhere. So I was told I can set up an appointment with a real person. So that's the next step.
Yeah, and if you have a ticket number, you email it to us, and so we can have it escalated, or your brand representative escalated. Let's see. Alicia, are new leads going to Zap or MoxiWorks? As I mentioned earlier, once that lead router to leads engine data flow cutover date happens, that's when new leads are going to go not into Zap, but through leads engine into MoxiEngage. Hopefully that makes sense. Other questions, and I apologize if I'm not able to get to everybody's in chat. Charisse, I export my Zap contacts into my Gmail and export it into Moxie, but it's taking all my personal Gmail contacts with it. Yes, as I mentioned, when you sync Engage to your Google contacts, your Gmail contacts, yes, it's going to take everything in that main contact folder, your personal contacts, unless you put them into a separate folder, as I mentioned earlier. Hopefully that made sense in my explanation. Other question, let me look at some of these new messages. Calvin, the wizard, depends on your launch date. If you guys launch, I'm not sure what launch group you're in. If you launch recently, it may be forthcoming. Showed up a few weeks in. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Tiana, for sharing that. Yeah. Linda, 2 or 3 weeks for migration to show up. Okay. So moral of the story is that if you are not yet launched, or if you just launched, where's that wizard? 2 to 3 weeks in, that wizard will be available to you, the agents. Other questions?
Alex, I've got a quick question. It's Ron Beck from Clarksville, Tennessee. I've been using Google Workspace, which is a non-company provided system, I guess. And we're getting ready to start using a Microsoft 365 that is going to be Office provided. Do I need to wait until they actually provide us that information before, or I guess that email address and everything before I do the migration?
That's going to be, we would need that information prior to your launch for sure. Prior to you getting tech ready, any of the email platform of which your company is choosing, all that has to be in place prior to any type of migration. Before even that, before your launch, that has to be in place. Whether we have to know about it. And Ron, if you can email us your ID, company ID and name, we can kind of research a little bit more. I could do some research as to kind of where you stand in terms of what we have information on you so far, so that we can guide you accordingly.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Kathleen, I already exported my leads from Zap and all my personal leads also imported. Any way of separating them now? Okay, so Kathleen, right? Here's the situation. Your personal leads, are you talking about contacts or leads for real estate, right? Number one. Contacts. Separating them. Okay. So Kathleen, would you mind unmuting yourself so we can talk about this? And I know we're over time, but if you guys can also take the time to fill out the survey, that'd be fantastic. I put in the link. Hopefully, let me see.
Yeah, I'm unmuted now.
Okay. So why do you want to separate?
Well, because I had about 2,600 leads in Zap. Okay. I did not know it was going to take all of my personal phone contacts, I guess, and put them also into Engage. And so now I have like 6,000 different leads in there now.
Okay. So what happens is, did you use the automated data migration tool? Is that what you
My
did?
son helped me with it, and we did it exactly the way, you know, it said to do it.
Okay, so that was probably the automated data migration tool. Okay, so it's taking everything from Zap. If you had 2,000 contacts in Zap, you're going to have 2,000 contacts in Engage. Plus anything in your main contacts folder from your Outlook 365 or Gmail is on top of that. Makes
Correct.
sense? So, because it's synchronizing your email to now MoxiEngage. So now it's saying, oh, I have my 4,000 contacts that I had on my iPhone, plus my 2,000 contacts in Zap. Now I have 6,000 contacts. Yes, that's going to happen because it's synchronizing it. Unless those personal whatever leads, whatever you want to call them on your iPhone or your Android, if you wanted them separate, not part of Engage, then that's where you would have put them in a folder separate from that main contacts folder. And if it now, after the fact, now you would have to go back and remove them from Engage. Maybe it could be easy for you if you filter. Probably when they were possibly added, there might be a group that they were all in. So you could kind of filter your Engage to say, show me everybody that was added on this date. So you could say, oh, okay, I can go quickly and sort or filter my list and now remove them from Engage. That might be one way to do it.
So if I
or
Mhm.
if you wanted to completely reset, right? You haven't done any work. You haven't followed up. You haven't added things into Engage. Okay, no big deal. Okay, let's start over again. Like the two people in the previous of this call. How do I reset? Oh yeah, submit a ticket. Can you start me over? I didn't want all these contacts and I don't want to spend time individually delete. Just start me over. I just want to go through, get all my Zap contacts in. I'm going to put now all my contacts into a subfolder so that Engage doesn't grab everything off my contacts. That's another option you have. Either way, you do it manually, one by one, or have support.moxieworks.com. Can you guys reset my Engage account? Because I want to start over basically.
Okay, sounds good.
You're
Thank
welcome. Other questions, folks? I'll stay on.
Hi,
the line.
Alex.
Yeah.
I have another question. Is
Yeah.
there any way that we can import teams and how they split their contacts up?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
That's a great question. Teams is to me, it's a beast, right? Because everybody has their own expectation of what Teams functionality should be like, right? But yeah, MoxiWorks does support Teams on the website and also on Engage, but on an import, I don't think that's.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for the headache.
No, that's a great question, but it's tough enough to deal with it on a website and an Engage standpoint, much less an import. Like, oh, wow.
Okay.
I don't think.
Thank you
right,
so much.
Yeah. Other
No
questions,
worries.
folks? Other questions?
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Go
do
ahead.
have one.
Yeah.
Okay, on when we had Zap, I had Zap on my phone. There's any way I can put Max on my phone again? Because
Yes.
I missed the first 15 minutes of the meeting, the Zoom meeting today. So
No problem. You'll get a recording. But anyways, Zap has a mobile app that you can download from the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. MoxiEngage does not.
okay.
However, one of our previous MoxiWorks hours does, I do go into how to put the MoxiEngage icon on your home screen. You can do that where it's just like an app. It looks like an app. It feels like an app. Well, maybe not feels like an app, but you have MoxiEngage functionality on your phone. Any plans to create an app? I don't know. Great question. But yeah, to answer your question, go to support.moxieworks.com, type in, I think, MoxiWorks on our home screen.
Okay.
And it has step-by-step, or you can go back onto the email that I sent the email reminder with all the different MoxiWorks hours previous replays.
Okay.
And if you look up mobile screen or home screen, listen to that replay, and I talk about putting that on your iPhone, your Android.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? I'll stay on until we get, because I can't go through all of these questions quickly anyways. Other questions? Going once, going twice. Jimmy, if you're still on, thank you so much for helping out. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, my man.
Really appreciate everything you do for us.
You let me know if you need anything. I'm here.
All right. Thank you so much. Other questions? Going once, going twice. Very good. All right. Thank you, guys.
Have a good weekend, my man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for attending, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye.